In the quiet corners of his hometown, where the laughter of friends and the clinking of glasses wove stories into the night, John found himself drawn to a local bar called Eclipse. It was a typical Friday evening, and the air was filled with a sense of anticipation and possibility. John had always been the quiet, introspective type, but that night, something urged him to step outside his comfort zone. Seated at the bar, he glanced around, his eyes lingering on a woman who seemed to radiate warmth and kindness. Her name was Sarah, and as fate would have it, they struck up a conversation that flowed as naturally as a gentle stream. "Mind if I join you?" John asked, a hint of nervousness in his voice. "Not at all," Sarah smiled, her eyes sparkling with genuine interest. Their dialogue started like a melody, each note resonating with a sense of connection. They talked about their dreams, their favorite books, and the places they hoped to travel someday. Days turned into weeks, and John and Sarah's relationship blossomed. Every moment with her felt like a kaleidoscope of emotions, a whirlwind of happiness and companionship. But as the months passed, cracks in the facade began to emerge. "You're spending too much time with your friends," Sarah said one day, her voice edged with a hint of concern. "I just want to spend some time with them." "What's wrong with that?" John replied, trying to find a balance between his newfound love and his existing friendships. Over time, Sarah's concerns turned into demands, her sweetness cloaked in possessiveness. John, yearning to keep the harmony alive, slowly distanced himself from his friends. He thought it was a small price to pay for the happiness he found in Sarah's company. As their relationship deepened, Sarah's manipulative tendencies grew more pronounced. She would offer affection only to withdraw it, leaving John bewildered and desperate for her approval. "You know, I'd really love it if you would start dressing differently," Sarah suggested one evening, her tone casual yet laced with subtle control. "I like the way I dress," John replied, his voice a mixture of confusion and self-doubt. Days turned into weeks, and Sarah's requests morphed into demands. She played on John's insecurities, slowly dismantling his sense of self until he felt like a mere puppet dancing to her tune. One evening, after yet another argument that left John feeling empty and defeated, he found himself sitting in front of a mirror. He stared at his reflection, his eyes tracing the contours of his face as if searching for the man he used to be. "I can't keep doing this to myself," he whispered, his voice tinged with a newfound determination. The next morning, John mustered up the courage to confront Sarah. The air was heavy with tension as he spoke his truth, his voice unwavering despite the storm raging within. "I can't keep living like this. I deserve respect, and I deserve to be happy," John declared. Sarah's reaction was a mixture of shock and anger, her manipulative grip slipping as John's words echoed in the room. "What do you mean, John? You're with me. Isn't that enough? Am I not enough for you?" "You can't fool me anymore, Sarah. It's over. We're finished." Walking away from the toxicity of his past, John embarked on a journey of self-discovery. The road to healing was a challenging one, but with time, the scars began to fade. John rekindled old friendships, pursued forgotten hobbies, and gradually rebuilt his sense of self-worth. "It's been a long journey, but I'm finally starting to feel free," John confided in a close friend one evening. Over time, the darkness of his past began to recede, replaced by the gentle warmth of self-love and acceptance. John learned that true happiness came from within, and no one had the power to define his worth except himself. And so the man who had once been entangled in a web of manipulation emerged as a beacon of strength, his spirit unbreakable and his heart ready to embrace the beautiful possibilities that lay ahead. Thank you for listening to our stories. If you enjoyed this story, consider liking this video, and if you want to hear more stories, consider subscribing to the channel so you don't miss another one.